is our surname and Topia is like a utopia. My name is Roman.
Jana?
Mother. Zapa.
And little Meda.
And we're living in sustainable paradise here. This lifestyle we found very simple to implicate, especially here in Australia because of the climate. You can grow food all year round, and also because this society is so wasteful, so we can actually live by example. When we arrived about 10 years ago, we started in Brisbane, and there I had a job in office where we actually rented a unit with a small backyard, and in this small backyard garden we actually grew more food than we could eat, so we shared it with others and we established like a small but functional community. And we reached its potential, but after 7 years the landlord decided to redevelop the place, and we had to move out. So we went to live with our friends on acreage, and they had a workshop shed which were not used anymore, so we converted this workshop shed into a livable shed. And we lived there for free in exchange for some help on a farm and maintenance. And that was about 1 year, and in the meantime we were looking for a place to buy, and we finally found the place here in Fernvale. And though the soil is very bad and very low rainfall, so everything is very dry, we take it as a challenge, and we can see a lot of potential in this block of land. That's why we're actually developing that and establishing Spurtopia homestead here. So I am actually doing what I am absolutely passionate about, but also doing something which really makes sense and which actually making a difference. And at the end of the day, we are actually creating a world in which we want to live in. We are all creators, and that's the beauty of that, because whenever I actually make something, then the nature will take its turn and will actually grow and work. Everything here is built around harvesting rainwater, so or harvesting water in general. So we're actually harvesting all rainwater from the roof, and now we have got over 100,000 liters water storage capacity. But once you have got a garden and fruit trees, it's still not enough. So we're actually utilizing grey water, which is everything from the house apart from toilet, to water our fruit trees. We're utilizing septic tank overflow water as a moisture for a vegetable garden, including the nutrients. We're also harvesting water from the dryways. So rather than let it go and run away, we actually catch it and it slowly soaks in to swells where we actually planted the fruit trees. So they will get a benefit of it as well. To create an irrigation system, I would say it could be about 1 month of work, but it took us about 3 years to put everything together, so all the rainwater is completely harvested and not wasted. Here we have the abundance of sunshine, which is actually free energy. So we're using that to generate electricity, but also hot water for the house. But not only that, we use the sun to grow our food. To build a garden, first it's the position of sun and how sun is actually going on the sky, so how much shade the garden will have, and most of plants would need about 6 to 8 hours of sunshine a day. So it would be orientation, type of garden beds, most likely wicking, soil, and water. I think these are the 4 elements which are the most important, but the 5th one, which is growing in the right season, and the 6th one would be growing with love. Everything is based around energy. We actually built a structure, a pyramid structure, which is the same shape as pyramids in Egypt, and they provide certain energies. But also you can actually energize the water and then use this water for watering. And we're actually using water from a pyramid which is charged in a pyramid for drinking. Regarding the garden beds, plants also drink water from these garden beds, which is stored at the bottom. So they are self-watering wicking garden beds, so they got continuous supply of water. We're actually putting water in maybe once in 2 weeks, once in 4 weeks, depending, and you can go on holidays and the plants will be happy. So that's actually the ultimate way of gardening. So you don't need to do anything and nature actually feeds you. When we were living in Brisbane in a new farm in a unit, we actually had a garden established, but there was a huge problem with pollination. There were no bees around. So we seriously considered beekeeping, and we read a book about bees, we joined a beekeeper club, and we just started. And in half a year, we actually harvested 160 kilos of honey from one beehive. So they are very, very productive, especially in suburbia. And the beehive is the most efficient system you can have in your backyard. And with bees, you don't need to have a large room. They could be even on a small backyard or even on a roof. While chickens, they love larger free-range areas where they can actually get all what they need. So not only the grains you feed them with, but also they will get a lot of kitchen scraps, grubs, greens, which is so important, which actually will keep them healthy, and they will actually rarely go sick. While if you keep them in an enclosed space, that's where they cannot source enough variety things, though you actually feed them, you give them some greens, but it's not enough. They always need like a nature to be healthy. It's definitely the same with humans, because if we eat, say, just potatoes, we would survive but not really thrive. While if you've got a variety of things which are fresh and organic, that's a different story, because we are what we eat. What we have actually done is 3 years of work, and we are very, very close to overall setup. There will be certain things to improve or maintenance, but I would say in 3 years' time, the whole thing is kind of roughly done. So it doesn't need to take the whole life, and it doesn't need to be expensive. That's the other thing, and it is actually a very joyful work to do. So we're following our 5 R's mantra, which is refuse, reduce, reuse, recycle, rethink. Wherever I can, I try to source recycled materials. So I built all our raised garden beds from corrugated iron from neighbor's roof. They actually renovated the roof, and I got all this iron for a case of homebrew beer. But wherever I see people throw something away, I can immediately see the potential, what I can do from it. Or if I cannot see that straight away, I would still take it, because in the future I can make it work. But not only the garden beds, but also the soil. It's made from compost, and we actually make our own soil, and we also make our own fertilizers. What actually got me on this pathway was my brilliant childhood, where I enjoyed every day playing outside, being with my parents, and also spend a lot of time with my grandparents, and I actually learned a lot from them. So I'm very, very grateful for it, and I actually would like to pass it on to our girls, so they can actually experience the same way of growing up, and very kind of secure, fulfilling and joyful life. So the best thing to give them is the good foundation to build on, the knowledge, the practical knowledge, but also the creativity and health in terms of eating fresh and organic. The way how we live is nothing new, because that's how our grandparents lived. They live in a connection with nature, in symbiotic relationship, while today's society is completely detached from it. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter whether you are rich or poor. The most important is whether you are happy and healthy. So the final purpose of this project is to establish like a family-centered, simple, healthy and fulfilling lifestyle, which we want to base around the family, have more time to spend with our girls, and educate them and show them the way. And as a byproduct, we actually grow our own food, and also, and more importantly, to influence other people by example and inspire them, educate them and empower them to make a difference. That's why so many people already coming to our place for open days and workshops and excursions. But not only that, this place is actually becoming completely sustainable in a way of income. So we actually are now reducing amount of time we have to go to earn money to the city, because now the city actually comes to us. So I don't really need to work full time. I actually educate people to live more sustainably for about 1 day a week to provide money for our family. And here we actually produce excess of food, which we convert into home produce and use it to exchange and sell as another source of income. So you can watch documentaries, but unless you live it, you don't know how fulfilling it is to create the world in which you want to live in. So what I would like you to do, don't wait and start something, and believe life is absolutely beautiful.